want to welcome you again to WRIT303. I've been sending out several emails to everyone, and I want to invite you and to welcome you again to the course. Unfortunately, the webinar did not work this evening. This is the first time that it's happened to me that a webinar didn't open. I'm thinking there might be something wrong with Blackboard and the Collaborate. I'm going to work on it tomorrow and make sure that our next webinar, which is at 9 p.m. tomorrow evening, that it will be working. I will send out emails to assure everyone that the webinar is up and working, and I'll check on that before. Again, I apologize, but welcome to Research Writing in the Professions, the summer session. I welcome all the nurses into the course. And my name is Alan Winson. I have a little introduction in the Blackboard course that you're welcome to take a look at, and I really would like you to do that. This video is to replace the webinar from today that we missed, and so I'm going to be covering the material that I would have covered in the webinar. This is what the Collaborate screen looks like if we had been there. Basically what we have is the center screen here is used for a PowerPoint slideshow in which I go through whatever it is that we need to go through, basically to talk about the assignments that we have been working on and the assignment that is coming up. Make sure that when you sign on to the Collaborate that you go to Tools first and use the Audio Setup Wizard tool to make sure that your microphone and your speakers are working. When you want to talk to the class and to me, you just click here where it says Talk, and you may need to raise the bar so the volume is up so that we can hear you and you can hear us. And then when you're done talking, just click that bar again, and that turns your audio off. If your audio is not working, then use the chat area here down at the bottom. Quickly talk about an overview of this course. To a great deal, this course is a reading course. You cannot write something coherently in a complex way unless the sources that you're using to write your research paper, unless you're reading them accurately and completely. So we begin the course by learning how to read as an academic reader, as an active academic reader, and how to read specifically and in a very concrete, specific way. We do that by developing our annotation skills, and we will talk about that through the first few modules of the course. You'll also be learning to cite and reference your sources that you'll be using the APA academic format. And you'll also be gaining the skills of writing the research paper body paragraph. I'm going to be using initials BP to shorten the longer term body paragraph. And so we're going to be writing our research papers in using body paragraphs. Two of the key aspects of a body paragraph is that it is unified, so that each body paragraph is about one particular idea, and it is synthesized in the sense that a body paragraph needs to bring in at least two sources in that discussion of that one idea. And we'll talk more about the body paragraph as we move on. You're also going to be developing an 8 to 10 page research paper, which will be due at the end of the semester, and we'll begin by looking for a topic and developing a research question which we will investigate. And so this paper will be an investigation of an important question coming from your field of study, using secondary sources to write that paper. We'll talk about the difference between secondary sources and primary sources to write your paper. In order to get started, there are a number of tasks that I want you to complete, and they need to be completed by Tuesday or I think we'll take a look at the schedule, but I think it's Tuesday morning. It might be a little later than that. But I'd like you to learn how to use the Blackboard environment if you don't already. What we're going to be really focusing on, though, is the blog tool, this one right here, and the class discussion board tool. Those are the key areas that we're going to be posting our work. The blog tool, you'll be posting your assignments there. The class discussion will be a place where you will answer a question based on the reading for a particular module. The most important task in the Getting Started area is the evaluation paper. This is a 5-paragraph paper based on some prompts that I will give you, and we'll go over that in a few moments. And so I will be discussing in this video this task number 3, which is the evaluation paper, which also needs to be in by Tuesday. The webinar, of course, hopefully, and is going to be working at 9 p.m. and it'll be most weekdays and Sundays. The 9 p.m. slot was chosen because most students who responded to my question about when you wanted to have these webinars, most of those students who did respond said they wanted it at 8:30 or 9 p.m. So I made it at 9 p.m. Also, you should take a look, go to Tools in your Blackboard course and take a look at the grade book. That's where all your grades are going to be posted. So I thought we'd take a quick look at the schedule for the first week. This is a 3.5-week course. So the first week, you're going to be working on the Getting Started tasks, and those will be due by Wednesday. Okay, so they'll be due by Wednesday morning at 9 a.m., and all those tasks need to be completed, including the evaluation paper. Very important that you get that done. Then Friday, you need to have Module 1 work completed. That's all the work in Module 1, all the readings, and all the work that's involved in Module 1. And we'll go over what that means, both in this webinar, in this video, and in the webinar tomorrow evening. Then on the following week, on July 7th, you need to have Module number 2 work completed. That'll be at 9 a.m. on July 7th. And then Wednesday, you need to have Module number 3 work completed by July 8th. So you see, we're doing about one module every day. Again, the webinars will be held at 9 p.m., 5 times a week, according to a schedule, which we'll take a look at in a few moments. And it is a schedule that I sent you by email just recently, and you can find that schedule in your Blackboard course in the syllabus folder. So here's the schedule that I sent out. You can see it includes in blue when the webinars will happen, and red is an indication of when the assignments are due. And so you can study this, but basically red are for assignments, blue is for the webinars. Now remember, the webinars will be at 9 p.m., but if you cannot make them, then you are expected then to view the recording within 24 hours of the webinar that you missed. And there's no, you don't get any credits taken away for not attending the webinar, but you are expected to view the recording of the webinar within 24 hours after it is recorded. So this course is built on a set of modules. The module is the heart of the course. Usually we cover one module a week, but because this course is completed in 3.5 weeks, we are going to be completing something like one module a day, though sometimes we'll have a little more time. Each module consists of these 3 things: notes, slideshows, and some readings from the textbook. Maybe some recommendations to take a look at a website now and then that relates to the topic of that module. There'll be a class discussion board that will ask a question that is oriented to the notes and slideshows or to what we're doing in that module. There'll be a question. You'll need to answer that question and then reply to 2 other students' discussion in that particular class discussion. And then there'll be some assignments. And you need to do your assignments in a Word file and then post it to the blog area. We will form permanent groups in the next couple of days. I am going to make every attempt to form those groups based on your work schedule, so that if you need to talk to each other, you will be matched up with other nurses who are on a similar work schedule as you, and so that you can communicate with each other if you want to help each other with your work. And so it's important that you send me your schedule for the next 3.5 weeks, whether or not you're working the 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. or the 7 a.m. to the 7 p.m. shift. The key to doing well in this online course, and this is a very simple way of thinking about it, is to read all the directions carefully and thoroughly, do all the work, get it in on time, even though it may not be as good as you would have done if you had had the full week to do it. Get the work on time. You will learn the lesson. And if you have any questions, ask them, either by putting them in the muddiest points or attending the webinar and asking me, or if it's a private question, send me an email. So just a suggestion on the order in which you should complete each day's module and how to, and what order to complete the assignments is as follows. First, listen to the module slideshows. These are narrated slideshows. Read through the set of module notes. Complete the other readings that are suggested from the textbook. These will be minimal readings, and any online websites that are suggested. Then complete the class discussion board and reply to at least 2 other students in the class. The initial reply to the question should be several sentences. The reply to each other can be fewer sentences, a sentence to a student who you want to reply to. And then the module assignment, which will be posted to your blog. Everyone in the class will have their own blog, and that's where you're going to post your assignments. I will read the discussion boards, and you will see my feedback, and I'll explain how I give you that feedback later. And I also look at your student blogs, and I grade them and put notes in them. And you'll see how I put the notes in caps. And you will be able to see not only your work, but the work of the students in your group. Module number 1 is not available yet, but it will be available later tomorrow on Monday. So any of you who get through the Getting Started work and you want to start on module number 1, you certainly can get started on that later tomorrow. Now I'd like to talk a bit about the evaluation paper. This is part of the Getting Started assignment, and it's the biggest part of the Getting Started. Here is where I want to see the level of your writing. And so you shouldn't take more than an hour or an hour and a half to do this. So don't spend a long time writing this paper. It is not graded. I use it as a way to judge where you are as a writer and as a reader, and then we can work from there. So please do not take a long time to write this, about an hour to an hour and a half. What you're going to be doing is writing a 5-paragraph paper based on these 2 little selections here. This selection comes from an article titled No National Standard in Sight. This selection here comes from an article called Global Lukewarming. Now, both of these are dealing with global greenhouse gas, global warming, and the effect on the economy, how greenhouse gases affect the environment, our health, and how it affects the economy. And you will be using these 2 to write the paper for the evaluation paper. Now let's go on and take a look at what the form of that paper will be. I'd like this paper to be exactly as I've outlined it here and in the directions in Getting Started, so that the first paragraph is an introduction, the last paragraph, the 5th paragraph, is a conclusion, and then the 3 middle paragraphs are what we're calling body paragraphs. Body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, body paragraph 3. Let's talk about the introduction. In the introduction, I want you to introduce this question. And I want you to introduce this question. What is the role of the U.S. government, if any, in solving the economic and energy problems of this country? I'd like you to introduce that question in your own words in the first paragraph. And you could also, in that first paragraph, tell your reader how you're going to discuss or answer that question using the 3 paragraphs. So you could say, first this paper will do this, then it will do that, and finally it will do that in answering this question. And so this is just an introductory paragraph. The concluding paragraph will be a summary of everything that went on in the middle of the paper. So this is a summary of the answer of this question. Now let's talk about the body paragraph. So the first body paragraph, or the second paragraph of the paper, will summarize the problem as it's stated in the 2 selections in the question that was in the previous slide. So what is the problem that's discussed by the 2 selections? And be sure to refer directly to the sources. The second body paragraph, or the third paragraph of the paper, will then summarize the solutions presented in the selections, in the readings that were given you. So again, this will require you to understand what you read in the selections, and then to put the answer to what the problem is, to put the answer in this second body paragraph. You don't want to put your own opinion, you just want to summarize what you find in the selections. Then in the third body paragraph, or the fourth paragraph of the paper, you can then enter into your own discussion of what you think the solution is based on what you read so far. So you don't want to go too far away from the selections that you have been referring to. You want to continue to refer to them, but then in your own words, say which ideas appeal to you the most and why. And so this entire paper should be 5 paragraphs, about 1.5 pages to 2 pages. And then once you have typed it up in a Word or rich text format, you are going to submit it using this assignments tool in Blackboard. And you'll see this in the Getting Started folder, in the evaluation part of the Getting Started folder. You can read what it says here. You certainly should. Then you're going to click on View Complete, go to the paper that you wrote, and you'll be able to submit it there. That then gets put into the grade book. I then read it, I grade it, and basically I don't grade it for a grade, I grade it to evaluate it. And then I will put it back in the grade book where you can then see my notes. So if there are any questions, the best place to send me those questions is through the Muddiest Points, or you can send me a private email if you want to do it that way. I also want to hear from you. What are your research paper topic ideas? You can email me your ideas right now. The research paper is discussed in the syllabus, and you certainly should read the syllabus. But basically, it's going to be a paper from the medical field, maybe something that you are working on right now at the hospital. But it should be something that is not a report, but is something about a new finding or a controversial study or something that is going on now in the medical field, not something that would be in the textbook, so to speak. So it's something that you would require you going to journals and reading articles that were written recently. Let me say one more time that I need to know what your hospital work schedule is so that I can arrange for the most effective groupings of students for the class. And please email me that information right now. I will be online. We'll have a webinar tomorrow. I will get it working. If not, I'll send you an email to let you know that there's a problem. But as of now, I'm sure we'll be able to get it working. And it'll be tomorrow at 9 p.m. We will then be able to answer your questions about the Getting Started work and the Getting Started tasks moving into Module 1. So just to quickly summarize, you want to get started. You want to complete all the getting started tasks. They need to be done as soon as possible. The most important one is the evaluation paper. Good luck with that, and I'll be talking with you again tomorrow at 9 p.m.